Evening, you wrongin'. Obviously, a lot of people weren't listening to what I said last night because there'd be normally a whole lot more people here at the beginning of a live. So, welcome. If you're in the body of the Kirk, make sure you get a comfortable seat. Make sure you have your supplies, your Battenberg, your altar wine, and just in case, Sister Mary will be out in the beer garden, still tidying up from last night. Minute we start, people start appearing. Lots to talk about tonight. I think we'll get into the parish notes and stuff that the people have mentioned in the comments. But I will say that it's getting very naughty now. We will get into the weeds of it. We will get into talking about World War III and what the hell is going on, because it feels like the calm before the storm. Are you getting that yet? They did say something would happen in June, something quite profound would happen in June. Maybe it's the Black Swan event I predicted late last year. But the drones in Russia, and Russia hasn't responded yet. Well, remember, they sent a ballistic missile into Ukraine at Mach 4. So the Russians are either very brassed off, and if they're not brassed off, they might just ping some shit across to NATO. NATO. Oh, NATO. It's not Ukraine. What? We'll talk about that later. So, evening, says Neil Cunningham. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. They've released details of the Russia driver that injured a policeman on Friday evening. Sorry, have they? It's a question. Thank you, Neil. Only info available is a 41-year-old arrested, no ethnicity. We've got Liverpool, Rusholme, and there was another one in, was it Leicester? 2 men, 2 women run over by 3 others who've been arrested. So, as ever with things like this, copycat incidents abound. And the authorities will be monitoring everything. I mean, like everything. And I will continue Neil's comments in a moment. But have you noticed, and I will mention him, you know who I'm talking about, Starmer the Kiddie Harmer, because now it's coming out in the newspapers that, well, childhood poverty in this country is going up. And yet he can spunk billions to Ukraine. Nice man. Nice man. But have you seen him? He's got this, and I can't wait for PMQs on Wednesday. He's got this really, oh, shit. Me butt plugs just fell out in front of the press corps. Look on his face. Because I don't know whether you've seen the picture of him in his... 2 seconds. It's either... I've got to show you this because, I mean, I do love the cut and thrust of politics, but this is, I mean, it's, Sarah Vine's book, plug, while she can hide away and shite. This, it won't matter because there's no print on it, but can you see that man there? Do you recognise that man there? He's in fatigues. I mean, really? Don't look at the writing. Forget the writing. But just look at his face. Does that look like a man that's scared shitless to you? Does to me. Well, is he being sacked? Well, can't. He's sackless. Is he being sacked? Is he being gotten rid of? Are they going to bomb the shit out of Europe? Because somehow, some way, Europe is organising the war. Just remember, you will own nothing and be happy, albeit irradiated. So Neil says has been released. Wonder why that is. Sorry, no ethnicity has been released. Wonder why that is. Well, They're monitoring and they are controlling, said a spokesperson. Andy B says, evening all. I've still got an hour of yesterday's to watch. Oh, Andy, far too much. Well, I keep saying that to all my girlfriends. Stuart says, evening, Rev. Plenty going on in the world. Enough for 3 hours, methinks. Oh, Stuart, enough for 10 hours, the way we're going. But I think what I want to do tonight is like stone throwing on the water, stone skipping. I just want to not deep dives tonight because there's a lot going on. I may use some of the notes that I had for last night, and I may use some of the notes that I had for last week, because I mean you just can't keep up with it all. But tonight is important, certainly World War III important. And I have said to you that the shit was coming in 25. I did say to you, I just hoped it wasn't going to be Starmer at the helm. Well, appears it is. I'll get into it, Stuart, and I'll sort of explain it on various levels. Tom Harley says, evening all, as a wrong philosopher once said, if you want to get ahead, get some Battenberg. It's always better when it's a freebie, Tom. Paul Morton, evening Rev, evening all. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts even Battenberg. Thank you, Paul. Oh, blimey, everybody's in tonight. Yay! Hang on, Soul Rebel. Early start tonight then. Evening all, just polishing my boots and gaiters. Are you going for a weird, Soul Rebel, or are you just getting your boots polished because Mein Führer Starmer says that, well, we're going to put boots on the ground in Ukraine? That'd be NATO, then. And have you seen the Polish Prime Minister? He's the anti-Euro Polish Prime Minister that won the elections yesterday. Europe's not happy. They'll be telling Poland, oi, you wrong'uns, get back to the polls and you can vote again until you get the right result for us. We want somebody that's pro-Europe. Oops. Nana Sky, evening Adrian and all. Evening Manda Sky. Sandra Whittam. Hello, mate. Hello, Sandra. Stuart says, are we going to talk about the new search for Maddie McCann tonight, Rev? I haven't seen that, but you know what? When they give the Met more money, somehow they go for another wonder and they say, oh, could be in a reservoir. And obviously it's not, because they won't find her. Some people know where she's buried. Wonder who they can be. So we can, Stuart, but I'll need a bit of engagement from the audience to kind of put me on the right path, so to speak. Kathy Harper, evening all. Evening, Kathy. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Paulie Galtieri, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrong. Evening, Paulie. Always good to have you in the Body of the Kirk. Shit, you're early. Better get the Jaeger Bob. Yeah, Stuart, you're wrongin'. Call yourself a parishioner, a member of the Body of the Kirk. I'm going to be Soul Rebel. Do you need your 3 vertebrae removed from that? I'm going to be a conchi. Is that the, oh man, what's the Castella, that big walk that they go on in Portugal and Spain? You're not doing that, are you? Penny Hen, evening from Redcar, from the mighty tower of power that is Redcar Bacon, Penny Hen. Cuban Pete, Starmer is an absolute bellend, said a spokesperson. I completely agree with you, Cuban Pete. I mean, have you seen him? Have you seen that fizzog? Unless somebody's put something in his jacket. No, Adrian, don't. Oh, do you know there's been a 4th man arrested today? I know. The reportage is a bit light on that. I wonder why. In his 40s, seemingly. Can't comment at all because the case is active. Evening, Rusty Roamings. I see you. Welcome. Tom Harney's much pinging on the way. Oh, I say, Tom, what can I say? And Stuart, seen Starmer today. I can see why he makes you rage. Oh, fucking hell. He's got a face. No, I can't. I'm not a man of violence. I'm not a man of violence, except when it comes to Starmer, who winds me the up. Because he honestly, he just talks out the back of his neck, man. He'll say one thing today, and then tomorrow he's changed his mind and says something else, about which we're going to talk soon. EBTB holiday evening, everyone. Evening EBTB holiday. So Rebel, now we have the fourth man. It gets better. Oh, I know. What? 2 young uns, 2 old uns. What's going on there then? Ask David Lammy, because David Lammy doesn't like paying for taxis, does he? Have you noticed how that story's been squashed? It's gone. It's Foxtrot Oscar. It's gone. It's never to be seen again. Mr. Creosote, he didn't pay his bill, and the taxi driver kept his suitcases. Has the taxi driver gone swimming with fishes? We need to find out. We need to make sure that taxi driver is hockey. Otherwise, people will speculate, you fat tart. Adrian is one fat shaming. Behave me. I'd need to be skinny mini to fat shame anybody else. The All-Bovril is in the body of the Kirk this evening. Welcome, young sir. Burlington, Bertie, evening all. Hope this live is as exciting as Mount Etna is currently. Oh, I've been there and stood on Mount Etna. It's actually, I'll tell you my story because it kicked off when I went on Mount Etna as well. I nearly forgot that. Thank you, Burlington Bertie. I mean, the locals are just like, nah, it's just... And seemingly the wine, if you can get a Mount Etna wine, it just has a certain je ne sais quoi. Especially the red. It's like, it makes you go want to fight people. It's just got, that added extra explosiveness in it. But Mount Etna, it is beautiful. It was blowing a bloody gale while we were up there. Anyway, I'll tell you about that later. Thank you for Burlington Bertie for reminding me. Adam Well, he definitely looks under pressure now, and they are not going to let him go. What have they got on him? It must be very juicy. Well, what can well, Adam, what can I say? I've been saying for a long time. What exactly would they have on Keir Starmer that would make him do as he is told? Yes, I know what it is. I know what a few of the things are. And because I mentioned his name, I'm not going to mention it because I could end up with my brake pipes being cut. F, can you not change your name? Because I can't pronounce it. It just looks like Finger Me was a names, I think. Maybe it's just, Freudian and a slip. But what do you mean? Why? Why to me? Be Rolex to the Pope next. Matthew Whedon. Evening, Matthew. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And the old Bovril, I was not late. Booked in at 9:24. Good to see you. Oh, look at all that. Right, we'll get in. Hang on a second. Stuart says Portuguese police confirmed on Monday that they were carrying out a search between the 2nd and 6th of June. So today's the 6th. On warrants by German prosecutors. Oh, yeah, Stuart, man. If it's Christian Bruckner and they're saying he's a suspect, well, shut the up and get on with it. If he's a suspect, provide the evidence. If he's a suspect, then charge him. If he's a suspect, shut the up. We know who murdered her. Well, we have a good guess. And even when they decided to put out a photo fit of a man carrying a child in resort, it didn't half look like a certain male. The cadaver dog tracked dead people in the car and the back of the sofa. So Christian Bruckner, he wasn't driving the car, was he? Terry Wookfit, is it true you are the world's greatest screwdriver? Hang on. None at all, mate. Have you not got any screwdrivers, Terry? Isn't that what Diana said when she had a flat tyre? Do you want a screwdriver? No, not just yet. I'll get this tyre fixed first. Phil Levan says, anyone going to war to protect our dinghy people? The dinghy people are going to war, they just don't know it yet. Collateral damage, off you go. And no, we're not going to put you on a dinghy. We're going to put you in the back of a truck. And we're going to drive you to Ukraine. And then you're on the front line. Oh, no, basic training. Don't be silly. You should have stayed where you can come from. Burlington Bertie says, my gran was called Mount Etna. No, Burlington Bertie. don't be dissing your nana. She was a big girl and had many men ascend her. Do you know, Burlington Birdie? Saw the line from here. That's a hard no, Phil, says Soul Rebel. Phil Levan. Louise Hampson, evening all. Evening, Louise. And Terry Wookfit, no drinking from the front tonight. It does funny things to you. Correct. Neil Cunningham says, nothing more important than family. Kate and Jerry McCann, what about tapas? Well, it's a lovely meal that you can have, especially with friends. Notice how the tapas 5 or 10 or however many there was in the restaurant. Notice how they've never said anything. No, Dad. Getting dicky bird. I wonder why that is. Because me, if the cops came to me and said, "Oh, Ben's died, can't find her, she's gone missing," I would just say to the cops, right, I'll give you my statement, I'll tell you where I was, straight up and down, mate. I don't care what other people say, straight up and down. Ray Norton says, I see everyone in Paris is practicing for the war. Yeah, including Macron, who maybe he needs the slap from the missus or the mister or whatever they call them nowadays. Paulie Galtieri, Kate and Jerry love a cocktail with a... Kate and Gary? Kate and Jerry. Wookfit, Lord Wookfit says, strategic defence review is a bit of a con. I'm with you, Terry. Rehashing agreements made by the previous government. 12 attack subs for AUKUS. Laugh my arse off. I agree with you, Terry. I completely agree with you. I have in me notes. I've got it in me notes. I'm just welcoming everybody into the body of the Kirk. Just a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into it. Right. So, welcome to live number 182. And we will have the next live or something tomorrow at 7:30. So I think what I may do is I may record it earlier in the day and put it up as a premiere or something. But there will be stuff for you to get your teeth into. Les Griffith says, Starmer's comments indicate a likely escalation between NATO and Russia very soon. Bill Cooney. Welcome back to the body of the Kirk. Hi, Adrian. Not been in for a while. Bless you. I hope you're well. Hope you're gan and canny, as they say in the Northeast. Drugging their kids is bad enough and not getting charged for it. I know. If it had been a couple from the council estate, Jesus, can you imagine? But they're doctors. Phil Levan says, Starmer wants more sub-Tridents replacement. Only cost 205 billion, they reckon. I've been telling you for a couple of years what the gig is. The gig is, so you buy stuff and you launder the money. And it suddenly bounces back into the pockets of the politicians. That's how it works. Hey, we're buying Trident, are we? They're trying to ban Trident, but America's Trident, so it's not really ours. Are we paying for it? And the Americans just go, that's ours. Maybe. Sandra Whittam says, I think they drugged her to keep her asleep and they gave her too much. Well, there are some, we'll call them conspiracy theories, that it was a swingers party. They were all off to the restaurant to have a bite to eat and then start banging each other. And somebody once said in the news that, as Sandra has says, Sandra thinks they drugged her to keep her asleep and they gave her too much. Except Kate did say when the coppers were there, Jerry, they've taken her. A, who's they? And B, where have they taken her to? Out of that woman's mouth. Stuart says there's so many theories in that story, and I agree with you. So tonight in the Simon, we're going to talk World War III because, well, the Russians haven't responded. And I do feel awfully, that's a Scottish word, awfully sorry for Sniffy. I mean, how much cocaine can one have and then not shit oneself? Mind you, I do hear that if you take a load of Coca-Cola, you might end up peeing your own pants. So we'll just keep an eye on him, whether he's carrying a Stormer bag or whether he's actually on the front line. No chance of that. He'll just send everybody's sons and daughters onto the front line. Soul Rebel, what Ed? On a full stomach, are we here, man? Terry Wookfit says that was the big rumour shortly after she went missing, and it's been years. But I mean, Maddie would be what, 19, 20 now? One theory should be pushed is the McCanns should be charged. I agree, Terry. I don't know whether they were, do the Portuguese call them Aguidos? Suspects, and then they were Aguidos, and then they weren't Aguidos because they were just parents. And I am telling thee, not that I'm any kind of expert, but I've just seen a bit of life. I will tell thee that there's Munchausen's going on there. Abso-bloody-lutely. If she wasn't a doctor, it would be a massive child neglected. Well, that's what I said. If it was council estate, holy Jesus, would be hauled over the coals. I mean, there's those single mothers who kind of want to go off and party in Ibiza and stuff and go on their own and leave the kids on their own in the house. That's in their home, and they still get kicked off. Ferguson Marine Engineering Limited have got the first naval contract to build the next aircraft carrier. Will be ready to sail 2075. It takes 50 bloody years to build an aircraft carrier. Send it up to Sunderland docks. We'll do it for half the price in 6 months. Russia has blitzed 7 airfields in Western Ukraine, all the ones with donated Western aircraft. Funny that, isn't it, Terry? I mean, Putin's not sitting in St. Petersburg laughing his cap off. He's not. But it's a message to the West. And it's a message to Starmer. Notice Ursula von der Leyen bitch has gone under the radar. Don't know where she's gone, but she ain't up here after 7 kids. Cool, blimey, Mersey Tunnel. Les Griffiths. Oh, we're weaving a couple of narratives to start tonight. Les Griffiths says, why did Mrs. McCann refuse to answer police questions in the interview? Very good question. See what I did there, Les? Beata, agree, they should be charged. Andrew James, there was time people settled wars by playing cricket or chess. I agree completely. But I do want to see some, I mean, when George Bush Jr., Sr. or Bush family, when they were president, he was like, yeah, Operation Shock and Awe. And I was like, holy Jesus, this is going to leave some craters in Iraq. And I watched it, and it was... I've seen better firework displays on November 5th. I was like, shock and awe. Typical bloody Americans. They over-promise and under-deliver. They all think that John Wayne, best of them. John Wayne is big leggy. And Putin's going to sit there going, Donald, you tart. I thought I told you we had a deal. Yes, Vladimir, it's that bloody inconvenient Prime Minister in Great Britannia. Yeah, that bloody Starmer, man. Whoa. He's winding the French up and the Germans. He wants to go to war, because then, if you go to war, then nobody's going to remove him from being Prime Minister. Are they? Ask Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi in Israel. We'll get to him later. So, Beata says, apparently Jerry was playing tennis the next day. What? More ball games in that heat, while the search was going on for his missing daughter. Of course. He's trying to make everything look usual. Ray Norton says, I think Kia is settling his war by playing the Blue Vein Piccolo. Oh, I say, Ray Norton. Cuban Pete, John Wayne's saddlebags. Cool, blimey. We're not going to be teabagging those, Cuban Pete. Do you think people only watch these lives to see how many innuendos we get into the show? Innuendos. That was me thinking it was an Italian suppository. Les Griffith says, Lindsey Graham visits Zelensky. Oi, Sniffy. Then next day or so, the Russian bombers are destroyed. Oh, I say. What and Cell Rebel, I'll take chess, Andrew. I've a mean Caro Can defence. I'm a fan of the Sicilian defence. Get off your tart. I'll report you to the police. Sicilian defence. Or I'll get me uncles from New York across. Stuart, if that was my daughter, the last thing I'd be doing is playing bloody tennis. I agree. The whole world looked at it and went, what? And then Kate was wandering around with her little fluffy toy. I mean, I get that it's traumatic. And obviously, you're in a whirlwind of something you don't understand. I completely get that. There's Griffiths, smuggled drones in shipping containers from EU countries. I know. So I'm going to ask you this one question. Is it Europe against Russia? Because that's what they want, because there's loads of money to be made in that there war. And they, hang on, Stuart says, Adrian, you do encourage us to make our own gags up. They're probably funnier than mine, Stuart. Les Griffiths, was that Jerry in the red shoe group photo? He was definitely in the. Last night we talked about court artists and how they, liquid lunches and people suddenly growing 2 years worth of hair. So maybe, was it a photo or was it a court impression? Terry Wookfit. Unlikely the drones were smuggled from the West. They were Chinese manufactured and assembled in Russia. So let's start. So we're going to talk about World War III. We're going to talk about Starmer gaslighting the country. We're going to talk about David Beckham. Beckham watch. Again, it's a daily occurrence. David Beckham, he's back in the bloody papers. We'll talk about him again. My personal story around Yorkshire Ripper, because there's been some reportage today. And I will tell you, because Sunderland at one point was... well, anyway, I'll tell you my story about Yorkshire Ripper. And... Bit of left field, because I was talking with a dear friend of mine today, and we were talking about sort of how long we've been on the net and how things have changed over the last generation, last 20 years. I mean, can you remember the connection? So we're going to talk arcade games. I will throw into the mix that last night when we started talking about TV themes, like childhood TV themes, it went a bit nuts. I couldn't keep up with all the comments, and there was one that we forgot. Joe 90. I mean, can you imagine? There was Thunderbirds, of course. There was Stingray, of course. There was Captain Scarlet, did it. And then there was Joe 90. I mean, I know that my siblings watched it with me, so it wasn't just for, blokes. But maybe we kind of... Peter Sadler, welcome to the body of the coat, you're wrong. Twizzle, twazzle, twazzle, twone. Oh, what song's from that? Nursery Rhymes by... It's a rap song by... Twizzle, twazzle, twazzle. No. That was Crack Killed Applejack by General Kane on Motown Records. It was the first time I heard that name, the Bovril. Twizzle, twazzle, twazzle, twone. He wasn't sure he was getting home. All about a junkie selling himself for the next fix. Terrorhawks. Yeah, it looked like an ex-girlfriend of mine, Bad Wolf Project. Ray Norton, Beverly Hillbillies. I know. Oh, yeah. But that was kind of... that was for the adults. What were they called again? Beverly Hillbillies. I can... Jade... Clampett. When they the Clampetts in Beverly Hillbillies? Or am I making that up? Terry Wookford, John Humble, Wearside Jack would have been a neighbour of yours then. Not mine, thankfully, Terry. But John Humble was, hello, my name's Jack. And I will tell you how they found him. Torchy, the battery boy. Oh, I say, nursery rhymes have dark origins. Oh, tell me more, Les Griffiths. Tim N says, tell me the female pilots from Captain Scarlet. Oi. They were the Angels, weren't they? Weren't they the Angels? Were they the Angels? Melody was one of them. Well done, Gary Cox. Angel Interceptor says Adam Whale. I was close, not far away, considering it's really 60 years. Loved Supergran, Billy Connolly singing the theme tune. Why did I like... I mean, I know I loved UFO. Not that we're getting distracted again, but I loved UFO. Do you know why? Who was she was a proper hottie. Oh, man, Nick Drake, Gabrielle Drake. I won't go into too much detail, but for young guy from Sunderland, whoa, she definitely got me through puberty. That purple hair does a thing for a man. Destiny, was it Destiny, Ebony? Who was it? It was more than two, though. Catherine Bach. Hello. Tom Harney's Chorlton and the Wheelies. Not as good as Gabrielle Drake, though. And you know, Nick Drake, genuinely, Nick Drake, the singer, is Gabrielle Drake's brother. And I hope Gabrielle Drake sees this, because UFO itself, with all the... I remember seeing them. They once got hold of a human being and put a space helmet on him and then filled the space helmet up with liquid. And it was like, God, that was traumatic for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was footy practice on a Wednesday, and I used to get home in time to watch UFO because it used to scare the bejesus out of me. But that's another funky cop funk theme tune that we've got. Destiny, Harmony, another one. Miss Ellie was gorgeous. Hang on, Chris. Miss Ellie, Dallas. You pervert. Not... You know, oh man, who was the hottie with the dark hair? Sorry, technical term. Victoria, not Beckham, Victoria, what's her face? She actually did a hardcore porn film. Not that these people have seen it many times, but just for research purposes. And she was, I think Frank Sinatra was after her for a while. Victoria Principal, thank you, Neil. Honestly, Jesus. Boily Boyle, don't call you Jean-Paul Boily Boyle, do they? Boily Boyle? Yeah, wrong. Sausages on Uranus, Andrew James, what can I say? Yeah, there'll be a knock on the door soon from Keir and his mates. The Bad Wolf Project, Destiny Angel, Symphony Angel, Melody Angel, and Rhapsody Angel. But Gabrielle Drake did it for me. And there was another one. She weren't as hot as Gabrielle Drake. So, Gabrielle, if only you'd asked or been around 2 or 3 years ago, I would have married you. You're wrong. Just for the purple wig. Garen Davis says, TV show was good lizard people? VTV show. Oh, the TV show was good for the lizard people. Oh, I know. Can you remember that scene where, was it a cat or something, where the lizard person kind of unhinged their jaws and just fed whatever small marsupial or whatever it was into their gob and then ate it. It was that was traumatic. I mean, it'd never been seen on telly before, but you put it on telly now, everybody would be going, oh, is that it? Oh yeah, man, I've watched Mobland. How many boxes of tissues did you get through over Gabrielle Drake, Adrian? Peter Sadler, twice as many as you. Phil Levan says, remember the sitcom in the 80s called The Front Line? Oh, was that the Bobby show? Was that their cop show? Spears 1999. And then Prince wrote a song about partying in 1999, and we're in 2025, and we're looking backwards going, well, wasn't that great in 1999, even with the Millennium Bug in 2000. I like Blake 7. Naff, but Brill. Yeah, the set kind of wobbled, didn't it, on Blake 7? When Bonnie Blue said she was doing 2K this week, I thought she was training for a marathon. Ray Norton. Either that or a bounty bar. Make your own gags up. A Rasta and a cop out. What was it? Oh, The Front Line. I don't think I watched it. Thank you, Kathy Harbour, Victoria Principal. Now, true story about Victoria Principal, as well as the Blue movie, the movies that adults make. She was in a relationship with Andy Gibb, who was the youngest brother of the Gibb brothers or the Bee Gees, and they wrote some of his songs. And he was a massive worldwide artist, singer. He just was nice voice, some great songs. But Victoria Principal, Leslie Judd with you, Neil Cunningham, what a woman. UFO was 1970. Was it really? In the 70s? And she kind of, I don't know whether he was man enough or what was going on, but she was like, oh, man, Andy, how do we and shake, man? I'm off to, I don't know, shag Frank Sinatra or somebody. I think she's married to a plastic surgeon. Can't see my lips move. I have to mention EBTB holiday, Reggie Perrin. Reggie Perrin, can you remember when he was imagining his mother-in-law? The hippopotamus. Can you not remember that? Reggie Perrin. Oh, Reggie in my day. So Victoria Principal broke like a worldwide superstar's heart because I don't know. I think it might have been his Coca-Cola habit or something in the background, and she'd had enough, and then went off and decided to have dances with lots of very famous men in Hollywood. Didn't come over here, sadly. I definitely would have come over there. No, Cuban Pete, we're not going down that one. With a G-spot in the back of her throat. I've no idea where that came from. I think somebody told me once in a conversation in the pub once. The first Jaws gave me nightmares. I know, we're going to need a bigger boat, says Leah. Oh, good to see you in the body of the Kirk again, Leah. Aidan Wellsmith, Boily Boyle, exactly. Boily Boyle, great. Alan Little, everybody's trying to remind me of Victoria Principle. I'll take that. I will take that. Not the band, obviously. Morning Joan, 11 minutes late. Points failure at Cockfosters. Yes, of course. Morning Joan, 11 minutes late. Points failure at Cockfosters. Says Neil Cunningham. Hang on, Cuban Pete. What we said now? Are we making our own gags up? The Bad Wolf Project says, oh my God, I have just found the Victoria sex tape. Utter wrong'un. Well, that's what it looks like where it was heading. Yes. Yes. I mean, it's a bit pixelated from what I can remember. It was 20 years ago. And I have a confession before we get into I'm kind of lightening it up before we get into the weightier stuff, because we really do need to get into the weightier stuff. But I have a confession, and I always tell my stories on here. But we used to have adrianallen.com. This is back in the day when the BBC we were, if not the first, one of the first to actually replay my shows on Real Radio on the website, until we started getting these massive bills for the broadband and the data, and so we kind of knocked it on the head. But originally we were putting, so say tonight's show I would have on adrianallen.com the same night or the following morning, and we had Alex Jones, the Alex Jones from America. His people used to come and look at it. We had the BBC looking at it. We had everybody going, oh, I say. And it was just one of those ideas. I said to Dean, my friend, I just said to him, here, Dean, can we do that? He said, let me have a look at it. 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, yeah, I think we can. I said, has anybody else done it? No, I can't find anybody else. Let's do it then. But what we used to do was we used to do an engagement email. And I'm going to tell you this now, and I'm going to wait for the Bad Wolf Project to see if we can find them. So we used to send out these emails, and we always used to attach them or put a hyperlink in the email about various, people, really? Just famous people, including the royals. I have no idea what you're talking about, Adrian, but those naked pictures of the then Prince Charles, I think they've been sanitized from the net. So if the Bad Wolf Project wants to have a go, genuinely, it was like a part of adrianallen.com. It was called My Secret Garden, after, wasn't it Anais Nin that wrote for the lads to get an insight into women. Anais Nin. And this is back, possibly 100 years ago. But for then, it was so out there. I mean, right out there by a mile. She used to get women to write to her with their fantasies. And she'd put them in a book. My Secret Garden. Was that, what was it, Nancy Friday? It was either Nancy Friday or Anais Nin. But both wrote similar kind of books. Pressure Drop says, who were the royals? The ones that were naked. And we had, so that I'm not thrown in the tower. I'm not saying any more. I mean, maybe I should send an email out, because there's all these people that go, oh yes, I'm anti-disestablishmentarianism, the longest word in the dictionary, obviously, but it's the movement against the church. And they go, oh, I'm a man of God, and yes, have you seen what's happening in America? Please, just keep watching me shit, because I'll make money from this. I'll make millions. And there's all these wannabe pretenders that are on YouTube who have no idea, genuinely have no idea about what we did, what we could, and what we have gotten up to in the background in all kind of mysterious ways. At one point, 25 years ago, people thought I was away looking at can you remember the fuel protests on the motorways with the lorry drivers? That suddenly disappeared from Century 106, and they went, but Adrian was behind that. I was behind some stuff that I'm never going to confess to, but Aidan Wellsmith. Dear sir, I am sorry to hear you have not yet received your supply of edible furniture. This can only be due to the non-arrival of supplies. Was that Reggie Perrin? Oh, Grot Shop. There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. I see you. You're going to tell us who your mystery guest interviewer is with. Not yet. I see you. Not yet. We've still got a couple of... it's been a very, 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 very busy day for both the interviewer and the interviewee. So we're going to reconnect hopefully after this, and we will get it... where is it? Oh, it's there, right. It's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. Stephen Hall, evening, you're wrong and you're a bit late. Mind you, you'd be on time if it was normal 8 o'clock. So the Mondays and the Tuesdays are 7:30. And what I am... right, let's have a vote. Very quick vote before we get into World War III and the tipping point and everything that's going on. I want to know if you want me to move Sunday and Wednesday so that we have 4 consecutive nights of lives at 7:30. Does that fit in with you sitting down for dinner? Does that fit in? Some people call it supper. Shandy drinkers down south call it sapper. Should we have sapper? Supper? That's what you have when you come back from the pub. Shitted, man. Shall we... so it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. I need your guidance. Do you want all 4 lives to start at 7:30 and then finish before 10 o'clock? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I am looking for your votes, please. I am looking for a steer. Oh, right. Okay, Andrew James says 8 p.m. Bloody hell. D, what you want, says pressure drop. I will. Keep everything at 8. Everyone knows where they stand then. Interesting. Karen says yes for 7:30. Linda Lewis. Nikki Watson. Les Griffiths. But Tom Harney says no, 8 o'clock's fine. Stuart, you smooth talking devil. I'll watch any time you're on, Rev. Thank you, Stuart. Terry Wookford, do what's best for you. Well, the reason I ask is because sometimes, like last night, I did the live, finished, I did 2 hours 40, 2 hours 43 or something. So it was getting very close to 11:15. And then by the time I've come down from the adrenaline rush, it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get to sleep until 5 o'clock this morning because of the adrenaline rush of presenting this. So I'm looking at it for the moment. It might happen in a couple of weeks, but I will let you know. Oh, sorry, Amalia, you're in and out very quickly. We'll see you all anon. Very cryptic, Amalia. 8 will be better for Nikki Watson. Okay, we'll see. I think Mondays and Tuesdays will probably stay at 7:30, and Sundays and Wednesdays will probably stay at 8, simply because during the week people can catch up. They've got work commitments, family commitments, all kinds of commitments. But Sundays and Wednesdays seem to be in stone for the moment. Phil Thorpe, buggery. What did I say buggery there? Samurai Cop says 1 for 7:30. So I'll have a look. I'll 11 till 2. Good old days. Garage pasty on the way home. Oh, Nicholas. Yeah. The garage pasties used to taste awful, mind you. If you'd had a few sherbets, they tasted like foie gras. So, right, okay, thank you very much for the votes. Let's get into the meat of tonight. Now, still think Joe 90 should have had a shout last night. Napoleon blown apart 1 and 2. Don't make any difference to you, Napoleon blown apart. So I'm looking at what's happening. And as I say, 2 seconds, you have to understand that the way politics works is they're not interested in your safety. They're not interested in your welfare. They're only interested in grifting money. So there's Liz Truss, didn't have her day collar on today. And if you don't know what a day collar is, do not Google it whilst you've got other people around you, because there'll be stuff popping up there that might put hairs on your chest. But nothing better than Adrian on Sunday. Try telling that to Mr. Paulie. Joe 90 did get mentioned. Oh, thank you, Terry. Not by me, though. I was just thinking about it today. Thinking Joe 90 should have been given a shout. Bad Wolf Project. Oh, I know. I don't. I know. I know. She's been in some. She's been in some films. Beata Dougie is going behind a paywall. Is grifting. Is never ended. Never ending. Uh, yeah, bloody grifters. Can we try and stay on topic? Says Les. Yeah, all right then. Give us. I want to take a mouthful. I was just so the politics of 2025, they are not left wing, they are not right wing. It is perception versus reality. It's the optics of everything. So you've got Liz Truss trying to flog whiskey in some of the papers today, going, oh, bloody Liz Truss, she's flogging whiskey for some ex-con. Well, they're ex-con, they've served their time, they've done the do, and now they're out trying to make a few bob for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Liz Truss trying to make some money. I have problems with, is she still an MP or is she baggered off? What I have a problem with is MPs who kind of face the camera going, oh, yes, well, we're going to do this. And we're going to send more money to the NHS, obviously. And we're going to put more money into nuclear arms for aeroplanes, which might appear in 100 years' time. All of that. Karina Jane, it's coming up as a necklace. Yes, it's called a day collar, Karina Jane. BDSM day collar. She wore a day collar. So Liz Truss had a master or a dominant. Some people speculated it was her husband, but some speculated that it wasn't. But the fact that she had a day collar on meant that other dominants couldn't then go, here, come here. She's a sub. So if you understand the parlance, you'll understand. I can only say that on here. I can't say it on any of my videos because the algorithm goes, he mentioned BDSM. Can't advertise that. Yes, Karina Jane, it is a necklace technically, but it's called a day collar. For in day collars, I'm getting educated. I see you. Truss lost her seat. Well, that's why she's flogging whiskey. There's a gag there. So, Rebel, I agree with you. The Joe 90 theme even became a hit on the Northern Soul scene. The purists were not happy. I know, maybe I should play that. Saturdays, I do 3 before 8. 3 classic Northern Soul songs as a weekly homage to Wigan Casino. That's the only plug I'm going to give it. Zetland FM, 5 through 8 on a Saturday. So Liz Truss, as the MP, she could do whatever she wanted, whether she was a lettuce or not. She could do anything she wanted. But this flogging of whiskey, don't have a difficulty with that at all. She's just making ends meet, so to speak. And you and I would do exactly the same. Somebody come up to us and went, here, I'll give you 100 grand if you promote this whiskey. Oh, yes, of course. We'll get full page spreads, full page PRs in the dailies. Would you like that? Oh, there's another 100. And I'm talking 1,000, not pounds. Starmer stated that we have to show respect. Who to? Les? What, the Russians? Honestly, you can't make this story up. This man is a clown of epic proportions. He's even more clownish than bloody Bojo the clown. And he was top dollar clownish. So we now get to a point where we've already been told that your children, I haven't got any, thankfully, but your children, and they're now saying they're going to conscript the 18 to 30-year-olds to start. They're talking 18 to 65. So I'm in the pan shite if they start asking for the 60-somethings. Let me just put that together. Starmer stated that we have to show respect to politicians. Which part of his mouth is he lying through? This. We do not, absolutely do not, have to show politicians any respect whatsoever. Especially lying toads in the Labour Party, including Rachel Reeves, who thinks it's really funny to have a massive black hole when we know the OBR says it doesn't exist. So who's lying? Is it the Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR, or is it Rachel Reeves from Complaints? But everybody says it's Rachel from Accounts, just for contemporary resonance. Neil Cunningham says Ukraine drone attack was 18 months in the planning. But who's planning it? Was it the Joe Biden, who now we understand from, and it came out today, not out, proper out, that Donald Trump's come out and gone, Joe Biden, that bloke that was like president, he was assassinated in 2020, and he's been dead. And literally the whole of the internet. You know, when you say something that's absolutely categorically the truth, when you say it, people don't believe you because it's so out there. People go, "Ah, come on, Donald, you winding us up." I mean, there's video all over the net of him scratching the back of his neck, and it's a mask that he's wearing. It could have been Jim Carrey for all we know, but they wanted the Dems, they wanted him in power, and they had the auto pen, so they had the uncivil servants signing with the auto pen, Joe Biden's signature, and then you had knock knock, oh yeah, Barry, who? Ah, well, that's being president for 2 terms for you. So Barack Obama's buggered off. Where's he gone? Big Mike. So where's Big Mike gone? Are they going through a divorce? Are they just getting their legal teams in and just making sure that they're getting the best screw that they can? I'm talking about money, not about, you know. Andrew James says, I would probably do my national service for Trump, not for the Kia grinder. No. And I'm sure from what he's been saying about putting boots on the ground and how we have to defend our country, he loves a good meat grinder. Because that's what they call Ukraine, isn't it? Is that the same thing as that app? Because obviously I've never been on there. I don't know what that's about. But is that the same thing? Because, you know, the Fun Boy 3 were on there. I mean, so... 1, Joe Biden seemingly has been dead for 5 years. 2, we now have Russia saying, look, you're wrong uns. Do that again and we're going to kick your ass. Because we're not dog sitting. That's the neighbours. Obviously, the dog's been watching the theatre of the mind and wants to give their opinion. Les Griffith says, let the million uninvited guests go to fight. They should be first on the front. Exactly. Big Mike keeps putting Barry down at every opportunity. Hung like a gnat. Nicholas says the country is crackers now. 3 buses of doctors and engineers delivered to the Britannia Metropole Hotel in Blackpool today after leaving Dover. I've told them we should send them straight up the A1 to Scotland. They'll soon start kicking and flinging about being in Scotland because the Scots won't mess with him. The Scots will tell them straight, you can't drink alcohol. Oh, hang on, you can't drink alcohol, can you? No. So what are you coming to Scotland for? Well, we were told it was beautiful. No, how do we end shite? Say that in Scotland. No, because the Scots won't want them. Teetotalers in Scotland be like Martians on the moon. Stephen Hall says, send these rent boys to fight. What rent boys? Ray Norton says, being facetious, Stephen, I get it, but we have to be very careful. Was that Truss we heard aid? Yeah. Can't wear it. You can if you've got a cricket box, though. Pressure Drop, it is a cracking song, the Ubovril. What's he said? Hang on a second. Somebody's mentioned music. Can't let that go without me having a look. The Bovril Pressure Drop. I had an idea that you might have linked your name to that song. Hang on, the Bovril. What you said, you're wrong. Oh blimey, it's so far up there. I might need some step ladders. No, hang on. Is BDSM similar to ECHR aid? Yeah, it is. Same kind of thing. Tie you up on the racks and you can't do anything unless they tell you that they can. Not that, you know, I've Frank Boff's your expert. So is Jamie Theakston, but I don't often name it because it's funnier when you say Frank Boff. Pressure Drop was the song. Ah, right. Thank you, Pressure Drop. Blimey, I thought I was seeing double. Did you put how much Jaeger bombs do you put in here, Stuart? Andrew James says, I was a Yankee then, yes, as my father would have been in Nam and my grandfather would have served his bit during World War II. Wow. If I was a Yankee. Burlington Bertie says, tell Katie Price to keep her voice down in the background. Funny. So let's have a sit rep to where we are. You've got to look at what these politicians are up to, and it's the Europeans, and that's why they wanted us, Council of the Unwilling, that's why they wanted us to be in there, and that's maybe why they were using the Colombian on the train, because they were going to invade somewhere, possibly Poland, because they've just elected a new president, and you know what happens when people invade Poland. Neil Cunningham, there's no shite on you, no flies on you tonight. And this is what Neil says, and Frank Boff is dead, so he can't sue. Correct! Terry Wookfit, BDSM is more than just Shibaru. Yeah. One of my ex-girlfriends was she worked at Sheffield General. Not a nurse. She was, oh man, the ones you go to kind of manipulate your bones and your muscles and stuff. And she said that somebody had come in quite a bad way after being tied up Shibaru for a few hours. Ooh, enough to calm you down, Adrian. I think it's getting me a bit lively, Stuart. Terry, you know a lot about most stuff. Yeah. Lord of the Wookfit is quite an educated guy. Subaru, sorry, you're tying me in knots tonight, says Soul Rebel. Chiropractor, physio-terrorist. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, so she was a physiotherapist, probably still is, at Sheffield General. And she, I picked her up from work one night and she was, like, her eyes were red. I said, are you okay? Have you been crying? She said, oh, I've been laughing all afternoon. I can't stop. I said, all right, okay. I've heard about those kind of things in hospitals. What's gone on? She said, oh, this guy turned up and he was all kind of, and I said, right, that's what hospitals are for. She said, yeah, but, well, he'd been tied up, like this Japanese tie-up thingy, didn't give me the technical term, and he'd been tied up for hours and was like, couldn't remember the safe word and was just going, oh, don't have me explain what a safe word is. God, we'll be here all night. But he couldn't remember the safe word, so they didn't untie him because although he kept screaming and stuff, unless you say the safe word, the agreed safe word, you can scream as much as you want. They're not going to let you out. The poor boy was in a proper state. Anyway, physio-terrorist. Thank you, Terry. So, I think let's look at World War III. And as I say at the beginning of this, we'll leave everything else alone for a moment because this is serious stuff and I want to talk to you about it. Because when we are adults together, we're aligned, all of us here, even though it's not an echo chamber. Brilliant. Gimp mask, Terry. So I want us to have an adult conversation around this because there are some sensationalists that are going, oh my Lord, it's World War III. Well, look, if Putin gets just a little pissed off, now they're saying, oh, Putin's dead, he's died, and they're just putting a body double in place. Can you see what they're doing? They're trying to rattle his cage. Now, the Donald would be on the phone to him going, look, Vladimir, just kind of chill out, mate. We'll have a beer. Well, you'll have the beer. I'll have some fizzy water. But I'll come over and I'll come and see you. Just don't rise to their bait. Now, you can either decide whether it was America or the UK or Europe that put this plan of the drones together to ping them into Europe. We've already had Starmer and others saying, yeah, there's not a problem if Ukraine wants to ping missiles into Russia and British missiles. So yeah, go ahead with that. Yeah, because we'll make a shit ton of money. Go ahead, sniffy man. You'll have Coca-Cola for the rest of your life. And then NATO. So Putin is just saying to the West, right, lads, here's the deal. And forgive my language, it's Michael Bentine's potty mouth time. You fuck about with us, we won't fuck about with you. It'll just go boom before you can say, what the fuck? So Putin is sitting there, finger hovering, and the West's media saying, no, he's dead, or no, he's not very well, or no, he's winding us up. Nobody's winding anybody up other than the West. It is Starmer and Macron, and he's Mr. and the German, Goose Stepping Wirtz, loving a bit of the old Coca-Cola on the train. They want to take us into a war. Now, remember, they wanted a never-ending war. Geopolitically, if you look around the globe, America is trying to be the peacemaker. But before, they would have to spend a load of money to be the peacemakers. And the Donald doesn't want to spend money because they've got $36 trillion worth of debt. They don't want Europe to go, here, Vladimir, because come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And Putin's ringing Donald going, "Here, man, Trump, what the what's going on with these nutty Europeans? The French and the Germans and the British, they're off their heads on something. They got to be, because they're like threatening to bomb me. They do know that we will obliterate those feggers in one missile." And the media are going, "Oh, I say, Spice Girls are getting back together again. Oh, I say, it's me, David. Hello. Yeah, I'm on the back page today, Daily Mirror. Yeah, I'm talking about football. I'm talking about Manchester United. And we'll talk about him later." I've never known a brown noser like him. I mean, he's Olympic standard, tonguing the king's arse. Nuclear winter incoming? No. So I want to get through it, and I want to layer it so that you have understanding and context. I don't just want to kind of throw a whole load of information and data at you and facts and figures, but we just have to be very careful, very, very careful about what we're doing and what we're saying at the moment. So, dear Lord Starmer, hello, Lord Starmer. This is the Theatre of the Mind writing you an impassioned letter saying, what on earth are you doing with a strategic defence review? I mean, we've had the bloody Tories for 14 years. You keep blaming them, and they didn't want to spend anything on military or defence or anything. But if you look for the last 6,000 years, the military might of a city, if you wish, and I'll use Jerusalem as the example because it's the most fought over piece of land on planet Earth. And so what they had to do was the military technology was just building massive high walls to protect the old city. And then you had, by the time you got to sort of the Templars and the 1000 AD, and those 500 years between 1000 AD and 1500 AD and Henry VIII, you had people using their military might in different ways, but it's always the same. Defend the city, defend the communities, defend your people. That's what kings. There was a king of Jerusalem at one point. He was a Knight Templar. So you've got if you look at ours, Charles the Weak. I mean, is he actually ever going to be able to look after his people? Nicola says there's a new thing in a bar in the Toon, that's Newcastle, where you get no. There's a new bar in Newcastle where you get poo bagged. Lads vacuum packed in a big bin bag with a dog mask on. I mean, what the actual? I remember when people bra was pervy. I remember when glory holes were pervy at certain Newcastle nightclubs. Not that I ever went in there. You understand, I was just told by people, DJs that went to Hitsville, USA. Adrian, in your letter, can you ask Starmer why my freedom of information request about Lucy Letby was declined? Let me just, I'm writing it as we go. Let's see. Yeah, so dear Lord Starmer, obviously, I call you Lord because you need an upgrade, and anything that's older than or been in use for 5 years definitely needs upgrading. You've launched this strategic defence review. Does that mean you'll also, according to Neil Cunningham, he also wants an answer for his freedom of information request about Lucy Letby, and your people have declined it to his people? So can't we just be adult about this, Lord Starmer? And you're saying today, Monday, the 2nd of June 2025, that you're spelling out the importance of rebuilding national defence and resilience. Could you explain that, Lord Starmer? I'm not the brightest Mackham from Sunderland, but I just don't understand how, and I will I will use the language that you've been using of a barrister, where you're saying, you're spelling out the importance of rebuilding national defence and resilience. Are we going to build a wall like Jerusalem so that nobody can come in, we can't get out, so we need lots of water, and we've got plenty of that. We just need desalination plants all around the country so that we can make fresh water and food. So I'll ask you a question, Lord Starmer. Will the Treasury be providing the funding perchance? I know that, Rachel from accounts with the mahoose of Black Growler and Ginger Growler, they're just, busy mates. How are we going to pay for this strategic review by any chance? Are we going to call any of the money back from Ukraine? Are we going to call any of the money back from Africa? The 11 billion a year that we give to Africa for no apparent reason, possibly teaching the Ugandans or the Nigerians how to wash their foreskin because, circumcision is a thing in Africa. And I know the Americans spent hundreds of millions in trying to get the Africans to understand why they need to chop part of their cock off. Technical term that we use in radio. So please tell us, Lord Starmer, what the is going on? Because I don't think you've got a clue. In fact, you've got no fucking clue. I've seen the picture of you today. It looks like you've just shit your fatigues, man. Didn't anybody tell you, butt plug? Unless your fatigues are brown, in which case it's a good enough hide. But you could always sell a little more Coca-Cola or more bags of Coca-Cola to little Sniffy because he's only cockeyed. I mean, is this all little man syndrome? Sniffy Zelensky and Rich Boy Sunak and Keir Starmer and Emil Slugger Macron. There's only the bloody German Chancellor who's anything over 5'2". So what are we going to do? I understand there were questions in the House at 2:30 this afternoon. I didn't want to put myself... I know I do a lot of things for you, as in you, not Lord Starmer. I do loads of things for you, but I just couldn't bring myself to watch Yvette Cooper take more of those bloody questions and then just not answer them at 2:30 this afternoon. Now, shall we, Lord Starmer, I don't mean to go on in writing, but this defence spending... couldn't you have bought some decent fatigues for the photo op in the Daily Mail today? Because you just look like a clown. You don't look like an army guy. Margaret Thatcher was more of a rebel and more of an army guy, even in her headscarf. Maybe you should have worn a headscarf. That's it. You should have taken your handbag and a headscarf. You would have been more Thatcherite, and then, the whole country would have gone, oh, I say, Lord Starmer, what a photo opportunity. That was just amazing. Les Griffith says, the Treasury, Adrian, sure you mean the taxpayer? It's coming, Les. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm just making notes about some stuff I want to respond to. Yeah, exactly, Les. They should teach the Africans to build their huts near a water source, not an hour's walk away. They're not the brightest, are they? So... this defence spending that you're talking about, young Keir, is that the defence spending review? Are you going to review it by committee? Does that mean... Paulie Galtieri, stop making me laugh. I've seen harder looking action men figures than Starmer. Well, looking hard is what's gotten him into trouble. Fun Boy 3, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. So this defence spending, 3% of GDP. Sorry, if you're not up on it, it's gross domestic product. It's 3% of everything we produce in this country. And they're arguing over it. Do you know why they're arguing over it? Because they're trying to work out who's going to divvy all the money up to send it to the military-industrial complex and how much is going to end up in their back pocket. Truth. So this... 3% of GDP, Lord Starmer, is that for us, the military-industrial complex, the deep state? Are you spunking all this money to the military contractors, or are you going to give it to Europe? He's saying today, and I quote directly, Britain must be battle ready. We were, but you called us right-wing thugs and started jailing us when you're going to ask the same people to defend this country. You're already talking about Dad's army, re-implementing Dad's army, so you've got the conscription ages, 18 to 30, and once you've blown all of those up and killed all of those, because they're all obviously going to Ukraine, once you've got rid of all of them, you're going to go for the 30 to 65s. I'll just have a club foot. Not a club sandwich, a club foot. Burlington Bertie says, Paulie, Starmer usually has the same blank expression on his face like an action man. I believe he knows what's going on in the background. I believe that he knows that we're either, it's all going to go kaboom sometime in June, or he knows that we're going to go, oh, Lord Starmer, could you first of all conscript your own son? He can go as an officer if he wishes, or he can go as a grunt, because you can't ask anybody else to forego their children if you're not prepared to put yours in the firing line. In that right, Sakir? Daughter is too young, but your son's now of an age where he can be conscripted. And if it's a forever war, that's what Netanyahu wants. That's what Sniffy wants. Because look, this is the bottom line with Sniffy Zelensky. The minute that the war finishes and there's peace in Ukraine, that's when the scrutiny starts. And that's when those that want him dead will have him dead. I've seen Mobland, it's easy. So we'll send Tom Hardy over there. The war will be over in 2 minutes. So we've got Sniffy not wanting the war to end for a good few years yet. There's more Bugattis in Paris for his missus if she plays his balls right. But I think if Funboy 3 have gone, the Ukrainian Funboy 3 have gone from Ukraine to somewhere else, and he recommended them to somebody else, then looks like we're going to war. Britain must be battle ready, according to Lord Starmer today. And every citizen has a role to play. Now, you know it's going to go kaboom. You know why? You've watched this channel for years. Because we're not fucking citizens. That moronic clown in the Pink Palace dancing with Funboy 3 and Sniffy Zelensky and fucking Macron and the German Chancellor on the train. Calling me a citizen. You can had away and shite, man. I might not like some of the royal family, but I am a subject of the crown. That's how the law works in this country, not a citizen. We would be citizens of Europe. That corrupt cabal that's literally sucking a melon through a hosepipe, and it's called the British pound. They think we're stupid. I'm not a citizen, I'm a subject of this crown. Now, you can go to the Russians, they're citizens. You can go to the Europeans, they're citizens, apart from maybe the Spanish, because they've got a royal family. So, you see, they're Marxist, they're Stalinist, they're every kind of ist, and they just want power while they can off. I'm sick and tired of these clowns because they're coming for your kids. Whether they want to shag them or whether they want to blow them up in Ukraine, they're still coming for your kids and your grandkids. And you're allowing this? Don't say, oh, I can be labelled right-wing. Who gives a flying what kind of label they give you? These people have got to be gotten rid of. And the only way you can get rid of them is by the ballot box. See, I'm so fucking wound up by this cretin. Every single time that I mention his fucking name, and especially citizen. Now, he can hide away and shite. We're not citizens, whether we like it or not. We are subjects of the crown because we have a monarchy. It might be Charles the Weak, but he's still the monarch. Oh, by the way, Britain must be battle ready. Every subject must has a role to play and get an AIDS test. Why would we need to get an AIDS test? Lord Starmer. Do you need one, or was it just one of those campaigns? Now, we know how power works. If you want to cover it up, so say it was me, and I'd been doing some stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, like shagging Africans or African monkeys or something, and I was walking sideways around the house, and I decided that I had the power to go, oh, darling, I think it would be awfully nice if I just went down to my local AIDS testing centre and you know that the incidence of AIDS is on the increase. What? Monkey shagging AIDS? No. Darling, it's from the jibber jabber. It's AIDS-induced jibber jabber. So what I'm going to do is, well, I've not been out to Africa, so there's no need for me to have an AIDS test, as we were told in the 80s. If you've been shagging anybody from Africa, if you've been out to Africa, there's every chance you need to get an AIDS test. But, Lord Starmer, no, darling, don't worry about it. I'm just going to, it's a public information campaign. I need to have people aware that this campaign is there for them. Nothing to do with me. No. Nothing to do with me. No, darling, I've not got AIDS. No. How the bloody hell? Bugger me. How would I get AIDS? It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. That's what gets results. So if I had the power, I would just make it up. I'd make shit up. Just so the wife would go, oh, darling, you're so brave, going and starting this campaign. The U-Bovril says, oi, I don't need an AIDS test. I've not been anywhere near Starmer. Me too, Your Honour. Had a test for AIDS after I came back from Central America too. Oh, I say, what the bloody hell they'd been doing in Central America? Have they been shagging monkeys there as well? Seemingly, it was cabin crew. Not that the monkeys were shagging the cabin crew, but the cabin crew were shagging monkeys. I mean, that was, I don't know, shame, man. It was a CIA. It wasn't MK Ultra. It was a CIA plot. Silver hat. Where's Bertie? I got Napoleon blowing apart. Yay! Ranty Bollocks Monday! Yeah, exactly. Plenty of ranty bollocks. But it just, I mean, does Starmer not wind you up the same way? Because he's going to send our kids. Now, if you look at Sniffy, he had over 500,000 young Ukrainian men killed in the Ukrainian war. There's now press gangs. I thought we got rid of them when we stopped sailing the Seven Seas. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum when we stopped sailing the Seven Seas. Royal Navy, all rum, bum and baggy. Stopped all that. So we didn't have to have press gangs to get people to man our ships. But now the Ukrainians have got press gangs going all over the place. And they're making them going to the front line to get killed. To the meat grinder. And Putin's laughing his cap off. Zelensky does not, under any circumstances, want this war to end because it's too profitable. And he's getting, Fun Boy 3 across there. And also, the minute the war finishes, the people that want him dead are going to kill him. Technical term, but it's been in the mainstream media, it's been all over the place. He doesn't want the war to end because he will end up on a cold slab. Same as Netanyahu. If Netanyahu, he cannot afford and allow what is happening in Gaza and what is happening in Israel, cannot afford for that to end. Why? He wants to pick a fight with bloody Iran. He wants to pick a fight with anybody. Any of the camel shaggers in the Middle East, he'll pick a fight with anybody because while he's a war prime minister, he won't end up in court facing charges. So he wants the never-ending war until he keels over with a heart attack, looking at the size of him, the fat tart. So you've got all of this. Maybe you should go on a Zempic, Bibi, or Wegovy, or Mount Jaro. One of them. I mean, can you imagine how handsome you would look at a 95-year-old having lost 20 stone? Albert Metcalf says, flush Starmer down the netty. Oh, what a great word, the netty. I haven't heard that in ages. Pressure drop, Charles the Turd. Correct. Another one we can't flush away. I can't listen to Starmer's voice either. He's the only guy I know that hasn't had Botox that looks like he has. And honestly, because of the Westminster bubble, he thinks he's got a personality. I've told you before, barristers and lawyers use personality as contraception. So, should we scare him? Me and you? Do you want the latest poll? This is for the Labour government. It's the Labour government approval rating, and it's a YouGov poll, so seemingly it's acceptable. So, the Labour government, the current Labour government, Ginger Growler, Black Box Reeves, and Mr. Creosote, and Sakir, I have personality Starmer. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it, you monkey tart. The YouGov poll says that the Labour government has a 12% approval rating. It literally couldn't get any worse. 12% approval rating. And it has a 67% disapproval rating. 67% of all respondents in this YouGov poll think they're a bunch of shite. And they've got a 12%. Oh, Terry, man. Well, look what happened to Norman. Not going to say anything. You know it'll get us both into trouble. Where's Streeting? No, he's not going to be Prime Minister, surely. But, you know, from this YouGov poll, the results came out today. 12% approval and 67% disapproval rating. Let me just kind of counsel you that Britain is waking up. So let me give you this, and I want you to take this and just park it somewhere. Not like your bike. Don't put your head down. Just head down, arse up. Ring, 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 ring. That'll be Starmer's bike. A lot of people will be taking an AIDS test this month as it's Alphabet People Month. Oh, of course, Ray Norton. Matthew Whedon, when is he getting his P45? Yesterday, I hope, and his P60. Norman bit his pillow, the old Bovril. Yeah, seemingly had a funny dream. Dreamt that he was eating marshmallows, woke up and his pillow was gone. Oh, it's an old one. It's a crap one as well. How accurate are those YouGov polls? Because Plaid Cymru is leading on the YouGov poll in Wales. Well, they're all... I know I can't say that. Nearly got sued. But this is what I want you to keep hold of. It's vitally important. It's one of the jigsaw puzzle pieces of the great geopolitical sphere of everything that's going on. They have to devalue the pound. They have to devalue the dollar. They have to devalue all of the fiat currencies that are in operation currently. Thank you, Stuart. Yes, 3 Hail Marys, Stuart, and I think you'll be fine. Sorry the Jaeger bomb was late. Bless me, Rev, for I have sinned. Right, out in the beer garden, Mother Mary will sort you out. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So all of the fiat currencies have to be devalued. So then crypto can take over. As I said last night on the live, I talked to you about central bank digital currency, CBDC. They don't want to pay 1 for 1. They want to make a profit. So what they want to do is devalue all of the fiat currencies. That's what they're called. The dollar, the pound, the euro. I understand that the Germans still have Deutschmarks and France has the franc. So it's not all as it seems, perception versus reality. And they need to devalue that. So a war, an all-out kaboom war, or, you know, everything going offline and we haven't got any connection to internet or people, or our smartphones suddenly lose their brain and they're not so smart. If that happens, they can devalue everything and then buy in using crypto. And then when everything comes back online, the fiat currency will not be available, or there'll be a transition period where they tell you, if you've got money in the bank, you need to swap it for crypto of some kind. And the governments will back certain cryptos. But the way crypto is going to work, the Bitcoin is going to be the gold reserve. It's going to be the equal to gold. So it's going to be a store of value. Bitcoin, it will be the store of value. Unless, of course, you are Fort Knox and the gold's gone missing. Well, it hasn't gone missing. It went out of London. It went across to America, went into Fort Knox. Nobody's checked it. So it's come out of Fort Knox and probably back in the Bank of England now. There's now in Fort Knox. Nobody's checked since 1974. So they have to have a store of value. Bitcoin is going to be that store of value. So you'll be able to exchange bits and pieces for bits and pieces of Bitcoin, which last time I looked last week was worth $108,000. They're going to use, and this again is off the top of my head, and I don't mean to just throw all this information at you. I just want to give you context and understanding. The way crypto is going to work, Ethereum was seen to be one of the leaders along with Bitcoin, but Ripple is kind of the company, and they have certain coins. So they have XRP, which was down at buttons and is now $2 odd. XRP, XLM, and HBAR. And anybody buying into those three at any point, don't do it now. Please don't take this as advice, because it's not. I'm just giving you a sort of sit rep of where we are, because a war benefits the elite who have to transfer their wealth before you transfer any of yours, so that the elite get the better deals and have the bitcoins, because there's only so much Bitcoin. There's a cap on it. That's why XLM and XRP and HBAR are going to rise in price. But so the banks need XRP to be able to, as I've said to you before, if you've got, I don't know, Hong Kong, Shanghai Bank in Shanghai, and you've got Midland Bank in New York, and they want to transfer wealth. They're talking about up to $37 trillion annually of transferring crypto or CBDC, central bank digital currency, and they would have to pay so much for each of that, and that's where XRP comes in. So for the banks, XRP is going to be used to transfer financial wealth around the globe. XLM and HBAR, from what I understand from my own research, they are going to be used on the high street. So you go out with, you know how you might go out with your smartphone and you might have your Tesco card on there, or you might have your debit card on there, or a credit card on there. And you just go to the till and it's like ping, 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 and it's on your phone, not a physical card at all. They need similar to XRP for the high street. And they're saying that XLM and HBAR are going to be the equivalent for the high street, when XRP is going to be used for the banks and the institutions. So that's why they need the different coins for different functions. But keep your eye on those. You can, well, no, I'm not going to advise you to do anything, but just keep your eye on those. And it's like the stock exchange. I never ever played the stock exchange because I thought it was too risky. And now we got similar with crypto, for want of a better word. Adrian, how will we make a donation to the channel when we go crypto? Yeah, you can send Bitcoin. Joke. Pressure drop. Here in Germany, cash is king. I know, pressure drop, and I know there were rumours when they converted to the euro that the German government kept some Deutschmark back, because they weren't sure whether the euro was going to last for very long. Same with the French. Andy Burnham is not fit to be a politician, judging by the state of Manchester. I think there's a few people would agree with you, Les. I need to go to crypto classes, says I see you. I have thought about it, and I think because financial advice on YouTube is a no-no, I think what I'd like to do is do a special one night with some people that I know that know what they're talking about cold wallets and hot wallets and semi-cold wallets, and there's lots of technical stuff going there. And I like, if you've got some savings, people that I know have put some savings in for them to mature in 27, 28, 29, when crypto really gets going. We knew that Donald Trump was going to be the crypto king. We knew that he wanted America to be the crypto capital of the world, of the planet, of the universe. So when he came in, he started all of this. Sorry, something in my eye, something going on. 2 seconds. So we knew that Donald Trump was going to do something, and we know that that game will be complete when he leaves office in 2028. So, again, I'm just going to give you some observational insights. I will not tell you what to do or what not to do, because this is money, and it's very dangerous. And like, I'm sure if you've played the stock market, you understand that stocks go up and down. Crypto, if you've been monitoring it, goes up and down. But the really weird thing is this. Crypto goes up, certain crypto goes up by 5%, and then the following day comes down 5%, and then the following day goes back up 5%. So you know that the institutions are mucking with the market. Because if you've got £1 billion, 5% of 1 billion is a whole lot more than 5% of 50 quid. So the institutions with all their money can play this game, 5% up, it goes down 5%, you buy at the bottom, and then by the time it goes up 5%, you've made however many hundreds of thousands or billions. Aidan Wellsmith, Man of the Sky, that will be very interesting. So I think it's the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. I would, from what I know, I want to do something because it's vitally important that the people that are aligned. Oh, Des Ashton, you tart. Just in, we are late. Been up, birthday dinner. It was very nice. Nice Zinfandel and a lovely fillet steak. Don't forget the Battenberg, Des. So, for dessert, obviously. So what I'd like to do is just keep it really simple. Not give you financial advice at all, but show you how things work. And once you get a grasping of it, it is simple. But the institutions don't want you understanding how to play the game, because the minute you know the rules of the game and you understand the game, then they're not going to be able to make the money. And all they want to do is, the money boys in London, they just want to make shit ton of money. Not you. Don't care about you. Don't care if you freeze to death next winter. They just want us to do as we are told. We are the cannon fodder. So yeah, crypto, they're going to do the war that may be coming, because I'm not totally convinced. I would say that I'm 50-50, because the Donald's not showing his hand. Putin's not really responding. It's just these clowns and these idiots in Europe who think that they're bigger than they are. We've been to school, or we've been in the workmen's club, we've been in the pub with, Johnny Big Bollocks. Yeah. I'll take Russia on, I'll do it all myself. I'll turn up by tea time and sort it all out. And you just know he hasn't got the capability, he hasn't got the skills or the connections. So we've got the Donald. We don't know whether this drone attack, because seemingly 4, was it lorries or containers? 4 of them just drove into Russia. And some of the, there is a name in the frame for them who had the storage and who had the trucks. But they said that even though they were driving along the road, the back of the truck started opening up and all these drones started to fly out. That's not technology that some hairy-ass camel shagger is going to be driving an Arctic with a container on the back and knows how to do that. That's military grade. So which military are we talking about? I would hazard a guess that it's it's us in America. Because we are the people that are liable to make money from it. So that's why they want some kind of contained theatre, so that they can make a few bob. That's the name of the game. It always has been. Just now we're awake in 2025 after what they did to us in March 2020. Let me tell you a quick story about Wearside Jack, as in the Yorkshire Ripper. All these murders, including one that was just in front of Jimmy Savile's flat, because I've been there and seen it. Savile's penthouse flat looked down on where Peter Sutcliffe, Yorkshire Ripper, killed one of his victims. But Wearside Jack was an odd character. He's hello, my name's Jack. You're not going to find me. And I can't, because I've spent so long trying to get rid of my accent, I can't really do the Southern accent that well. But it's, it's Big Brother House. It's day one, Big Brother House, and my name's Jack. So I'm just telling you, like, I've recorded this. You're not going to catch me because you're not clever enough. No, I'm cleverer than you. My name's Jack, Wearside Jack. 4 containers, drones supplied by NATO, says Les. Well, you didn't actually say NATO, Les, but I get that. And it's because they want the war. They're desperate for the war. It makes sense for them to make money. So Wearside Jack was an odd character because they played the recording, and people in Sunderland, I mean, we all just, the hairs on the back of our necks went, oi, 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 oi. Who's that? So what the police did in Sunderland, or certainly the northeast, they narrowed the accent, because there's lots of different accents within the Mackem accent in Sunderland. And this guy had an accent that they identified down to 3 council estates. They were Castletown, Hilton Castle, Town End Farm. That particular area. There's a very nice castle called Hilton Castle. If you've never heard of it, they've done it up recently. But they it was the certain main roads, and literally you go over a main road and the accent changes ever so slightly, but you can identify it down to 3 council estates. And YI50 investigator says Les Griffiths. So Wearside Jack, he was actually called John Humble, and he died in 2019. So what the police did was they spent all this time. They thought that they had the Yorkshire Ripper. They thought they had the modern Ripper, and they were going to get him. But they couldn't. So what they did was, me and my dad, because every single household, they thought they could contain him. They thought that the Ripper, he'd killed so many women, that he was on one of these 3 council estates: Hilton Castle, Castletown and Town End Farm. And it's not a great big area. It's not that far. It's about a mile and a half in total in one way, and about half a mile wide-ish. That's 3 council estates. But what they did was they brought to each of the shopping areas on each estate, they brought some porta cabins, and they based themselves 3 bases in each estate. And they went round absolutely every single house. They went to the council lists, who had council houses and who was on the electoral register. They went to everybody, and they came to our house, and it was me and my dad. So we had to give mouth swab, DNA. We had to give statements about where we were on certain dates. They took recordings of our voice, because, I mean, I couldn't have been any more than 15, 16. And I was saying to me, Dad, what we're going to do? Well, it's definitely not you. It's definitely not me. I sound like a chipmunk. I don't know about you. And they said, well, my dad says they've got the recording. We've just got to play along with them. We've just got to do as we're told, because they'll soon eliminate us from their investigations. And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And all the talk in the pubs on the estates, because on Town End Farm itself, we've got 1, 2, 3, a massive workmen's club, and 3 or 4 pubs, because everybody drinks. And all the males were very, very, very nervous. Hardly any of the males did any talking on the street. I mean, some of the people are really friendly. They'll walk out, you all right, mate? Why, aye, canny, aye. But nobody wanted to do that in case somebody heard the voice and went, oh, sounds like him. Sounds like the Ripper. He's the Ripper. And the way that they caught him eventually, because this was in the 80s, the way that they caught him was he did the recordings, and the people leading the investigation threw all their weight behind the recordings. And it got to a point where they literally had put all their money on black, so to speak, if you go to casinos. And turned out he wasn't. Well, they didn't find him. And it was in 2006, somebody decided to open the cold case that was the Yorkshire Ripper, because they had Peter Sutcliffe. They jailed him. But this Wearside Jack was still like a bad smell hanging around. They hadn't completed it. They hadn't found him, Wearside Jack. They didn't know where he was. So, and I agree with Terry Wookford. This is very important. And yet, women who had close escapes with Sutcliffe said he had a local Leeds accent, and police ignored it. They completely ignored it. They went for this Wearside Jack, thinking that he was the Yorkshire Ripper. So it went cold, and after a generation or so, 20 years or so, in 2005, they decided to have a look at this cold case. And John Humble was caught by, when he sent the DNA is so sensitive now. When he sent the cassette to the police, it obviously licked down the envelope, and they got his DNA from the saliva on the envelope that he sent the cassette into the police with. So they reopened the case. It's a cold case. They wanted to have a look at it. And within a year, they had him banged to rights. And he served, was it 8 years? Yeah, he got 8 years for perverting the course of justice in 2006 and then died in 2019. But that is, again, a lived experience. And you just think, wow, it's the weirdness of life, I suppose. But my dad never really went into it too much because Townend Farm was a bit of a, it's a hard place, a very hard place. Like one of my mates who was a bit of a recreational dealer, just around the corner from my house, somebody tried to hack his arms off with machetes, teach him a lesson. Pressure Drop says, and now they go nuts about you know what. I know. Bet nobody had a hammer then. No. I'd hammer in them. No, I won't. No. Said it in a TV interview as well, according to Terry Wookfit. They had around 10 photo fits. Jason King looks alike. They ignored them. I know. Jason King used to turn his shirt cuffs over the jacket sleeve. Oh, blimey. The style of the 70s. And then nobody cottoned on to Savile. There is a cine film on YouTube of Savile at a fete. Have you got the link for that, Andrew? I'd love to see that. He got lifted for drunk and disorderly, humble. Got DNA tested when he got lifted to the spit from the envelope. Well, it was a cold case initially, but it was one of those really weird shit things. So we're gonna ask you a question. One for yes, two for no. It is a question. One for yes, two for no. So I want to know your take on this. One for yes, two for no. Do you think that if we go to war with Russia, and it's still 50-50 at the moment, that the illegals would still be living the life of luxury in 5-star hotels and not having to fight, whilst we or our children were away fighting? Do you think if we go to war, the illegals are going to be living the life of Riley whilst we're away fighting? One for yes, two for no. So far, Germany, France, if you're looking at the reportage over the last couple of days, Germany, France, Sweden have lost control of the violence. And our country is on the brink. We're going to hell in a handcart. We know that Starmer can't direct us. He's not a good enough Prime Minister. He's a very weak Prime Minister. He's not a leader by any stretch of the imagination. The Labour Party thinks so because they wanted him to get them into power. And now they're going to metaphorically, politically assassinate him. You can guarantee that. So Germany, look at the violence that's been going on there. Look at the drivers that have gone into crowds at whether it be Christmas markets or just heavily. Oh, I needed that. So it looks like everybody's thinking one. Nerdy Birdie, the Omarian Meme and Nicky Watson and Linda Lewis, Ian McGee, Peter Conway, Andrew James, Tom Harneys. The 5-star hotels, according to Pressure Drop, are now 1-star hotels. How many times do you have to be told? Sandra Whittam, of course they will. So they're going to get their feet up, cigar on, whilst if we do go. Now, I please understand that I'm not predicting World War III. Because I don't think there's anybody mad enough that will nuke anybody else. Look at India and Pakistan, man. They're always jaw at each other. Oh, look at the slippers you wear. Yeah, bunch of nonsense. No, look at the bloody slippers you wear. That's really funny. You calling my slippers fat? I mean, it's an age-old northeastern gag that literally fights would start on a sixpence in a pub, and it would be as innocuous as you calling my pint fat. It's an old joke, but literally blokes would argue and end up fighting. Calm down, Pressure Drop. Calm down. So, Rebel, we need a dance-off. That's the way we do it. That's the way we do it. Oh, no. I've just realised. If it's a dance-off, it will be Sniffy. He's the gayest straight man dancer I've ever seen in my life. It ain't just it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. That's what gets results. Dear Lord. So I think Starmer is saber rattling. He's not going to go. I mean, look at him in fatigues. Jesus, looks as if his butt plug's falling out. So I'm going to quote President Trump. Andy Spittle. So I need to quote Trump. And this is what Trump has said. Now, sometimes he's a bit mad, but if you make him angry, he'll say shit that he shouldn't really say. And he said, and I quote directly, "There is no Joe Biden." What do you mean? He was executed in 2020. Now, we've seen some of the masks and some of the we've heard some of the rumours. This eye's hurting me. I don't know what's going on. So we've seen so many things: falling off bikes, falling off stages, not knowing which way is where, and his missus, seemingly not a doctor, but is a doctor, but isn't a doctor. And Big Mike's not well, he's not neither Arthur nor Martha. And then Barry is, well, he's the gayest president I've ever seen. So, and there's been some gay presidents. And it just, everybody was like, no, that's not a bloke, man. That's, is it the Truman Show? So, I want to tell you this. My eye's beginning to hurt me now, so I might curtail this live in 5 or 10 minutes. But last night in the comments, I was really intrigued. Karina Jane thinks someone likes the Fun Boy 3. You know what the reference is, Karina, don't you? Come here, I'll whisper it to you. 3 Ukrainians, the Fun Boy 3. So we have to speak in code on this channel. Otherwise, I'll be doing a stretch for the next 30 or 40 years. I'll die in prison. Or they'll cut me brake pipes, one of the two. So we use code on here, and we are using the Fun Boy 3, because that's what the 3 Ukrainians are. There's a 4th now, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe the 4 tops. We'll go to the 4 tops from the Fun Boy 3. I don't know, pressure drop. It's just while I've been doing this live, it's getting very tender. Don't know what's going on. Put these on so I can see what I'm doing. So Karina, that's why we use the Fun Boy 3, for comedic effect. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. That's what gets results. So last night in the comments, we were talking about just generally about stuff. And then I talked about the bath tax. And somebody was like, no. Well, Les Griffith says, sorry, hold that thought. Les Griffith says, now there's a 4th. Well, we'll use Fun Boy 3 tonight, and then we'll use the 4 tops from tomorrow. I can't help myself. I love you and nobody else. So I mentioned the bath tax last night, and somebody was incredulous going, what? Yeah, and Stuart says we have to type in code because of the censors, because of the algorithm. I know. Pink eye. Look, if I was Japanese, that would be me Jap's eye. Terry Wookford, pink eye, you've been wiping feces in your eyes. I have, bloody no, I wash my hands all the time, you tart. I don't know where it's come from, though. There's gags galore, and I'm sure you'll take that advantage. Was that not Bananarama? Yeah, well, yeah, it was, technically. But it was the Fun Boy 3 and Bananarama. But because there's not 3 blokes in Bananarama, there's only 2 of them now. There's not 3 blokes in Bananarama, and they're not from Ukraine, so I just call them the Fun Boy 3, considering what they're up to on Grindr. I've never been on there. I don't know. So last night I mentioned this back. Hang on. That hurt says, I can't believe you've just had to explain the Fun Boy 3 thing. Horses for courses. Adrian, you could have an eyelash in your eye. Yeah. Wasn't that the biblical tome? Let he who was without sin cast the first eyeball or something. Adrian, you yeah, got that? Yeah. Not joining Black Eye Club here. Oh no, yeah. Elon Musk. He's got which that one. Black Eye Club. Are somebody taking them away and giving them a kicking? Mind you, I was going to do a video about because you know that Zuckerberg and Elon had this handbags at 50 paces. They were like, right, MMA, I'm going to take you on. And Elon, I mean, if it was a bedroom, Elon would definitely take him on because he's banged out like millions of kids. But Zuckerberg is like, yeah, I'm jiu-jitsu black belt, me. So, yeah, shall we have a fight? We'll put some money down. And the pair of them were going to have a fight, and then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. And nobody has followed this up because of the way that the news cycle goes now. It's so fast, it's only a couple of hours, if an hour. Which is why on Monday, when we were doing the Liverpool live, it was the golden hour. You had to, by the time we'd done an hour, everything was controlled. Nothing was going to come out, and nothing was going to get past the censor. So, Ashton, have you a pair of red shoes? No. No, I had to think that. Been chopping chilies? God, blimey. So glad I enunciate. Can't say that. I can say that, but I can't say anything else. Sorry, Garen. I can't believe we have to talk code in 21st century Britain. That's where we are, Les. Because I know that another YouTuber's been arrested. And I feel sorry for these. Nicholas says, give our Mara we's keys. Lost your Macam accent. Give our Mara we's keys of these keys. Yeah, Macam tart. Barcode. So, so Musk and Zuckerberg were going to fight MMA. And they're not now because everybody's forgotten. And there's loads of stuff in the papers. I was saying this yesterday. I was having a look through my archive and I got to Black Box Reeves and Ginger Growler and Lord Starmer and Mr. Creosote. And they were just saying anything before the general election. I've got all the newspapers. So, yeah, Les Griffiths, that's actually right on the nail. You will learn respect, Lord Starmer. Andrew James says, reminds me of Fury versus AJ bout. Never happened, but both made a fortune from the publicity. Oh, of course. Ian McGee says, heard Fun Boy 3, had Grinder accounts deleted, so no trace to Starmlin. Let me get to, I'll kind of round the live off with this story and this insight. Because you're not going to believe this. I promise you, I'm not winding you up. But last night, I just threw out the window tax and the bath tax, and somebody went, bath tax? Bath tax? As in the bath? You joking? No. And here's the deal. So when I mentioned the bath tax last night, you probably laughed. But in the Daily Mail today, ministers are considering a bath time tax for households using too much water. Now, the suppliers, that would be the crooked, corrupt water companies, they're thinking about using new tariffs. Now, this is an old story that I think they've rewritten. Because, you know, journalists are not truth seekers. Journalists literally just rewrite press releases. So I think this is an old story that they've rewritten. But the suppliers, the water companies, are saying that they could use new tariffs to include charging more for water in the summer. And bigger bills depending on consumption. So if if you say you've got kids and you're having to bath them every 5 minutes and or you like to keep a tidy, clean house and you're using a load of water, then the water companies are coming after you. Not that they're spunking all their money to their shareholders and the infrastructure is crumbling, so the taxpayer has to step up and repair the infrastructure, make sure we've got plenty of water. They're thinking about building more reservoirs. Kielder Reservoir looks at and after the northeast of England. Love Kielder water, it's fantastic. But the water companies argue it would cut bills for households that use less water. in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, absolute bollocks. So it's the taxpayers' money that's bailing them out. They're going to charge the taxpayers more for water, for, the piping and stuff to get rid of sewage and effluent. And I'll guarantee you, they try and get a water meter into every single house. All the new houses that are being built, they've got water meters. It's just corruption on such an epic scale. They can Foxtrot Oscar. And the politicians, if they run this through, a bath tax, I don't wear, man. Sam says, quite rightly, water is a human right. The old bottle says save water, bath in pears, not bananas. Garen Davis, more cloud seeding on the way. I've been watching it every day. Amalia Grassi, Terry Wookford, prefer Derwent Reservoir. Great fly fishing there. Paul McCaughey, is it a shortage of water or too many people? It's a mixture, Paul, of the corrupt water companies who need to repair the infrastructure, don't want to pay for it, so they want us to have to pay more taxes and have to pay more for our utility bills, and they'll cream that off, keeping the profit for the shareholders, keeping the profit for the workers, but creaming it off for me and you, from me and you, so that they can build new infrastructure and it's not costing them a penny. That's what this bullshit's all about, and that's what it is. Water meters, but go woke, go broke. I'm going to leave it at that because this eye's hurting me, and we're not far away from 2 hours. So that's Monday night, live number 182. Remember, there will be something at 7:30 tomorrow night, and then the live as usual on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So please smash the likes on your way out if you could, please. Thank you for the likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. At least it was the last time I looked. Thank you for all your comments. They're absolutely fabulous. How much water is used at Dolphin Square, Andrew? And Terry, make do with a wet flannel and a bar of imperial leather. Oh, nice. Build up a bit of a froth with that. Nicholas says, let this sink in, everyone. Boris Johnson is 14-1 to replace Keir Starmer in the UK. Prime Minister odds, according to Ladbrokes. Yeah, you're mad if you take 14-1. Never going to happen in a month of Sundays. Yvette Cooper and Wes Streeting are 11-1 to take over from Starmer. But the nearer we get to a general election, the nearer we get to the obliteration of both the Labour Party and the Tory Party and the Lib Dems. They're like the dinosaurs. They'll just kind of hang on, irrespective of nuclear war or not. So stay well, stay healthy. Don't forget the Battenberg, and I'll see you in some way, shape or form, depending on this eye, 7:30 Tuesday night. Enjoy tonight. Smash the likes on your way out, you wrong. See you later.